Oh.
You know what's scarier than fighting demons? Getting old. But someday, even the goats have to pass the torch. And after 20 years on the job, the Warrens finally are ready for. But guess what? The demons have other plans. When the tragic death of a friend leads them to a family that's being tormented by three evil spirits, they realize that a demon from their past has come back to finish the job. And this might turn out to be their last, so we're here to break down the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat the mirror demon in The Conjuring Last Rites. Late one rainy night back in 1964,
Go me,
on one of their very first paranormal adventures.
Go me.
A woman named Victoria who says that there's a strange presence floating around her antique shop. But this case is different from anything they've seen before. It started when her father began to feel like something was always watching him. At first, she thought it was just his old age, until one day when she ended up finding him dead in the back of the store. That's when she began to feel it as well, and it hasn't left her alone ever since. Although Eddie's worried, Lorraine promises that she'll be alright as soon as she goes to check it out. Making her way around the storage room, when she hears a voice whispering her name, she turns around and notices a large mirror that's covered up with a sheet. Sensing that it's the source of the problem, Lorraine introduces herself to the spirit and reaches out to touch the glass, but that was her biggest mistake, because all of a sudden the glass cracks, and she's given horrifying visions. And Ed rushes in as she falls over, clutching her stomach, rushing her to the hospital. The wife of Escanor, the Lion Sin of Pride, the Seven Deadly Sins. Escanor was the Lion Sin of Pride of the Seven Deadly Sins, the former second prince of the kingdom of Castellio, and a man known throughout the kingdom of Leonis. His holy knight. His sacred treasure was a divine axe Rita, and his inherent power was sunshine, which made him renowned for gaining during the day and gradually becoming weaker with the setting of the sun, leaving him frail and submissive at night. Welcome to the Army. In today's video, we're going over the life of Escanor. We're coming up on 1 million subscribers, and we'd love to hit it before the end of the summer, so if you enjoyed the video, please check if you're subscribed, because YouTube sometimes unsubscribes people from channels, so if you think you're subscribed, you might not be. Dimagi's reach stretches beyond just his channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all of our social media accounts. Help us reach our goal of passing 100K followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Background. Escanor was born 40 years ago, the prince of the kingdom of Castellio. When he was a child, his older brother Damon used to pick on him, until one day his power awakened, and he accidentally broke his brother's arm. His parents disowned him because of what happened and his strange unexplained appearance, and soon the kingdom's forces mobilized to kill him. He was rescued by a kind woman named Rosa, who hid him in a barrel and set him adrift at sea. He survived, but wherever he went, people called him a monster, even when he helped them. At some point, Escanor returned to Castellio in search of Rosa, only to find the kingdom in ruins, and Rosa nowhere to be found. 15 years ago. One day, Escanor was causing problems in Leonis after getting rid of a monster that caused riots in town. There, Meliodas, who asked him to join the knightly order, although the two were forced to restrain him by order of the king to stop his habit. After being taken prisoner to the castle of Leonis, Escanor was accused by the kingdom of terrorizing and destroying many villages and towns, greatly injuring the holy knights who tried to restrain him, and for disrespecting the king as well. Labeling him as the sin of pride, Escanor is then sentenced to flogging, followed by public hanging. Escanor, already in his knight form, tried to explain what really happened, but having no evidence, he decides to accept the punishment. However, Meliodas intervenes at the last moment, stating that he would take care of him. That night, Meliodas takes Escanor with his companions as the seventh and last member of the Seven Deadly Sins. Despite being scared by his new companions, they receive him with open arms. After everyone drinks all night, Escanor decides to leave after saying he would go to the bathroom. While reciting a poem, he's surprised by Merlin, who asks him why he's leaving. Escanor says he can't stay because his curse that prevents him from controlling his actions during the day ends up causing him to harm him. Merlin says that he's actually an interesting man, causing Escanor to be ashamed. Merlin tells him to join him to solve his problems using his incredible power. Escanor mentions how much she looks like Rosa because of the good things she says about his curse and the lonely eyes she has. After killing her friends. She then sends his soul to the capital of the dead. Escanor then meets Rosa there. He initially refuses to see her from the front for being disappointed in himself. Escanor promises to fully live the life she saved. Tragedy falls on him or how lonely he becomes. Rosa then assures him that there's nothing to be ashamed of. The two remain before Escanor bond.
Wow, look at me.
12 years ago. With a clan of vampires
Dolphin.
the kingdom of Edinburgh and threatening the kingdom of Leonis and all of Britannia with impending war, the seven deadly sins, including Escanor, were deployed to deal with them and to protect Edinburgh Castle. When the mission starts, Escanor is confronted by the vampire who demands to know his reason for coming to the castle. He then attacks the Sin of Pride with telekinesis-controlled debris, which Escanor evades with ease.
Money is a day.
Suddenly, the Sin stops dodging and faces Isroth. He easily lifts his sacred treasure, which he had been previously unable
Oh,
to do, and orders the vampire king to fight at full power. He then demands an apology from him for being born into his
mana
world. He then
ibon.
used the sacred treasure to easily cleave the vampire king's torso, which quickly regenerated. But having come into contact with Escanor's axe, began to burn him. After destroying the castle and killing Isroth, Escanor was approached by Merlin,
Tate
who
umi.
as she distracted him, he was
Tate
hit by Gopher's
umi.
blackout arrow, which Merlin had amplified to knock him unconscious until his power depleted. He was then brought home by Merlin. Back at the castle, Escanor was scolding himself for losing control and that his poems are not worthy of Merlin's ears. Merlin then entered his chamber and asked if she could hear his poem. 10 years ago, Escanor, along with the rest of the seven deadly sins, was summoned to a council to meet the great holy knight Zeratus. After they found him dead there, all of them were ambushed by the holy knights. When Meliodas ordered everyone to disperse and regroup later, Escanor obeyed and went into hiding, forming a secret bar hidden deep within the mountains, and even establishing himself as the owner and master of the bar. It's unknown how successful Escanor's secret bar was, but it was seen to have been well stocked and maintained. Introduction art. Escanor's wanted poster displayed on a board in the board hat. Raven's art. Escanor is first introduced into the main story when, as the owner of the bar, my sweet Dorothy, versus Rita and on the wall,
Oh
he's
God.
surrounded by Rita Jericho during Elaine
ये
and
क्या
John
हो रहा है?
Woodward,
मैं अटक क्यों गया?
welcoming them, Escanor asks who they are, and seemingly recognizes Bond of the three, asking Jericho if she's a holy knight. However, Jericho informs him that the seven deadly sins are now considered heroes, not villains, much to his relief. He then asks Bond about Merlin, which the bandit ensures him she's safe with Meliodas before asking him to hide them, which Escanor gracefully obliges to by hiding them in a cooler behind him. With the Ten Commandments arriving now at the scene, a terrified Escanor is sniffed out by Galen, who gets distracted by the booze and immediately commences drinking along Meliscula. Admiring how the booze has gotten better over the course of 3,000 years, Escanor explains its content, which Meliscula credits him for knowing much about. Escanor asks who they are, and the two respond that they're the Ten Commandments of the Demon King. Surprised, Escanor shouts
Kako.
to the Galen King, with each of them delivering a blow to each other, and the first one to die loses. Despite Jericho and Bond's advice, a terrified Escanor accepts the game and is patted in the back by Galen, but the force Galen used caused the secret of sin to pass out. Before they know it,
Nita, Nito.
and as Galen attempted to carry the Rita, Escanor snatched it from his hand and told him that mere humans cannot hope to wield this axe.
Tate una.
He's a human or not, and Escanor responds that he
Tato.
is indeed human, but he's the very pinnacle of the human species, introducing himself as the Lion Sin of Pride, Escanor of the Seven Deadly Sins. With Galen surprised at Escanor's audacity, to demonstrate his strength, Escanor slices the commandment in half with a mere swing of his axe. However, just as Meliscula remarked, Galen was far from defeated, as he casually reattached himself, which Escanor noted informed if he would be done in so easily, it would not be very long.
Gitu.
Escanor then proceeds to provoke Galen by telling him to continue the game and hit him, which Galen responds to by activating his critical over. Physical strength, which shocked Escanor greatly.
Topi.
Delivers a land-shattering blow to Escanor's shoulder, in hopes of defeating the lion's sin.
Nggak tate.
Its most powerful attack only barely bruised the brute.
मुझे पता है तुमने कुछ किया है।
Ngay.
Releasing an intense aura of supremacy.
Ngay.
So great that Galen broke his own oath and subliminally tried to
Kak
escape.
ama pa eh.
Satu.
Fi tu.
Escanor tells Meliscula that she
डर गया क्या?
Itu.
thanks him for the offer and freeing her from Galen.
डर गया क्या?
Ama itu capek. Oh. Tate. Oh. Kata.
As Meliscula screams in agony after being consumed by flames, Escanor answers the question of what his power is, replying sunshine. After defeating them, he tells Bond that he needs to speak to him on important business.
Kudo tate umace.
What?
Tate. Nikah.
क्योंकि तुम भाग रहे हो।
Escanor asks Spawn how the rest of the group are doing.
Ta o ti em e te to u ti
The
o.
Lion Sin then tells him that he's planning on returning to the group, but he cannot do so before finishing
U
one
te
last
ta
job as the
u
barkeep
o.
of his bar, asking
Okay.
Spawn to help him. It was then that King showed up.
Ne tu
Great Fight
baby.
Festival arc. Escanor
Nga
is later
ti
seen as part of the
to.
Great Fight Festival where Gotha arrives and lands on
पीसफुल
top of him.
तुमने
The Lightning
पीसफुल मोड
asks him to
इस्तेमाल
get
किया है
back, and as Gotha
अब मैं
recognizes,
नॉर्मल
Escanor
मोड
notices
इस्तेमाल
his
करूंगा
glasses are broken, which
Tuma
ends. He's then
okay.
instantly impaled by a vine from
जरा मैं
Bloxia,
तुम्हें हेड
restored
स्टार्ट
by
दे
Fight.
रहा हूँ
After
भागो
being
यहाँ
forced to
से
participate in the fight and being paired with Hawk, a worried Escanor is then shocked to see a talking pig behind him. When both of them go against Gotha and Jericho, Escanor gets scared when Gotha said he'll kill them both and win the tournament to gain a heart and feel remorse for their deaths. Escanor tries to convince Bloxia as well to let him go to the battle or at least change the rules, so he won't have to fight Gotha
करो भाई करो
as his request is denied. Gotha goes with all his strength against him while taking down Jericho and Hawk. Gotha uses Jack and Nightmare Teller against him, and Escanor starts remembering his past with his family and how he was tormented after breaking his brother's arm, the reject from his mother, and even how they tried to kill him, and how the mysterious woman helps him to escape. For a brief moment,
Toffee.
the time when he met Merlin and Meliodas, and the feelings that started growing for her. This moment turns into a nightmare when Merlin says to him that she'll never be with a man with no future, as his curse will consume his body to
Go
no end. He
Toffee.
had already put Escanor in an eternal darkness of despair, is shocked to hear and see Escanor is unconscious, but even more when Escanor pseudo-transforms into his more powerful form thanks to his ability. Escanor says that that nightmare was not despairing, but hope for him as Merlin was always a ray of light in his path. With his strength back, Escanor states he will make him pay for playing with the hearts of others. Escanor
Yeah.
delivers a simple blow to Gotha to take his glasses.
Te umi.
Escanor starts evading
जल्दी ही
Gotha's
क्यों का
Jack
हंगर बार
attacks and
होगा
calls
और
for
वो
his
स्पिन
sacred
नहीं
treasure.
कर पाएगा
Escanor and Gotha prepare for their last attack, but the truth was, Escanor
Có
was
ba
able to
này
attack
thì
control
bà
in
tế
both cities.
độ thì
Unfortunately, Escanor collapses thanks to Gotha's attack and turns back to his weak form. When Escanor regains consciousness, Gotha holds him to see how he was. Escanor tells him that even though he doesn't have a heart, he's still one of his precious comrades, and that's why he would not let go of the Ten Commandments for fighting with the heart of his friends.
tất
Saying
cả
proof
bằng
that
ngay
Gotha
cả
actually
ưu
has a
thị
heart.
e
Escanor, along with everyone,
chú
is
và chú
teleported far away by
tu
Guildfront
à
into
o
safety, and he watches the battle of his captain against the
ta
Ten
chạy
with
mấy
just the
ưu
wall
à
and Sean. Defensive
ta
battle
cả
early
ba
in this arc.
hi mà
One
cao
night
cho
after
tế
Meliodas'
u
death, Escanor shows up during the Ten Commandments siege on Leonis to aid his fellow deadly sins and the other holy knights who are paralyzed by Essarosa's commandment. Essarosa, feeling superior because of his commandment, notices that Escanor is not affected by it and asks the sin for the reason why. Escanor replies that he's not able to feel hatred
ô
against
vì
the
em mu e to
At the beginning of the fight, Estarossa appears to have the advantage, tossing Escanor around. But Escanor
bố
quickly
đi chạy
turns the
ăn
tables as the
đi
sun
chạy na
continues to rise towards noon. Estarossa shows that he's able to use full counter on physical attacks, mildly surprising the Sith. Seeing how physical attacks would not be the best option, Escanor decides to use a magical attack. He then produces a miniature sun in his hand. As his allies are having problems with the heat emitted from the sphere, Escanor decides to
tế
translate the
cùng
heart to another location. He then pushes the sphere, Cruel Sun, against Estarossa, turning his body towards a nearby lake. As the canopy falls into the water, Escanor makes the
em mà
sphere explode, releasing so much heat that the lake
nu
completely
phà mày
evaporates in the
tất
process.
ba
Estarossa admits he would have been in trouble if he released his darkness a second earlier. Escanor prepares another Cruel Sun, but Estarossa quickly hinders his plan, using his dark powers to cover the sun. Nonetheless, Escanor decides to attack anyways with Rita. Estarossa uses full counter again, reflecting all of Escanor's power, greatly damaging him. As he seals